I think the best content in the world is objectively bad content because it is people that are being true to themselves. In fact, try to make your content a little bad. Like, actually try to make your content bad. Think, how can I make a sucky piece of content today is actually going to get you further than how can I make the most perfect piece of content today. Hello, Tom. I'm happy to be back. You're my favorite podcast ever to be on, so I'm happy to get to chat in another format.
Yes, I'm going to be using that sound bite. Well, you know what? I was actually just thinking before this call, I was jamming on like kind of what questions I wanted to ask you. And sometimes when I review content, I find new stuff because I haven't, I missed some of it. And I'm like, I've seen every single one of these posts. And I realized I was like, when your content comes up on my feed, I never scroll past. I'm like, because she's going to have a hot take that sparks something in my mind.
Thank you. That's such a great compliment. I do repurpose my content a lot though, so you probably just see the same content over and over. But I appreciate that so much. I try to cut through the bullshit and just like give people what I think is going to be helpful.
Well, you do. And the other thing is sometimes I'm watching it and I'm like, is she in my brain? I feel like this is a thought that I've like had like on a walk one day. Couldn't really articulate it in a way that I would ever be able to like say to another person, but you're able to do that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I do think that we all have gifts in this world, and I think that I have a gift of words. And it's funny because I've always been into writing. I've always loved like literature classes, writing classes, but I would always just get really bad grades because there were so many rules and I wasn't formatting things correctly. And so it's just really funny that my whole career is taken off from writing. And I'm like, writing is not for your journalism teacher. It's not for your creative writing professor. It's for whatever audience you're talking to. Like, it doesn't this is a great example. You're doing this in the car, lo-fi. Any film professor would be like, critiques here, here, and here, and blah, 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 right? It's not for them. It's not for them. It's not for them.
Yes. I love that. So we're going to get into that writing and a couple of your other hot takes around like content. And first, before we get into it, because sometimes at the end of the show, people plug their stuff. I want to say it up front. What if someone is like listening and they want to immediately search and like find a way to participate in any of your products, offers, or whatever? What do you got going on?
Yeah, well, if you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, Instagram is Courtney Johnson, TikTok is Courtney Johnson. You can see all of my stuff there. But top of mind, I have a level up on LinkedIn. It's just a great way to start your journey as a content creator. Utilizing LinkedIn, which is honestly the easiest platform to take off. So if you're interested in that, you can Google level up on LinkedIn, Courtney Johnson. You'll find me. You'll find my stuff.
Amazing. Cool. And we're going to get into some LinkedIn specific questions. So we'll cover that as well. All right, cool. Let's jam on it. So you were just talking about writing. What is your writing process? Like when you come up with your ideas for content, are you like sitting down with a notepad with coffee and have like a creative process, or are you just out in life and you just quick scribble into your notes app and that's where your ideas come, or a little bit of both?
I find that identifying patterns in your work is really important. And a pattern that comes up in my work is I get my best ideas when I'm just going through life. I'm cleaning, I'm in the car, I'm walking, I'm doing something that's kind of mindless. Always where I get my best ideas. If I try to force it, it doesn't come. And my best ideas, my best pieces of content, my best bits are all things that have just come to my brain and they're repeating over and over and over until I write them down. And I get so frustrated. It's like getting a song stuck in my head where I have to write it down in my phone notes app. And I always tell people, like, you have so much money in your phone notes app, whether that's a business idea, whether that's content ideas that you have not tapped into yet. Like, go tap into that shit.
Tap into it. And I don't want to go on a tangent, but I'm going to go on a tangent right away. I just realized the other day, I was like, you have money in your existing videos. So I had this idea. I was like, I'm going to go through my videos, and anytime I have a product or I mention a product, I'm just going to DM those videos to the brands and just say, hey, been a fan for a while, keep it up. Just like a little like intro. And like I did that in multiple, like we started these natural conversations. You got money in your app and you got money in the videos you already posted.
Okay, that is an amazing cheat code. Wow, I did not think about that. And also, yes, you have money in the videos you've already posted. Also, to repurpose. Like, I think a lot of people think that they have to constantly come up with new ideas, but that is not true. You can repurpose the same video over and over and over, or just use the exact same script and change out the hook or change the format a little bit. Like, iterate on it. You have so much content that, like, if you're a content creator, you probably have so much content to where you really don't need to be coming up with new ideas every day. And even if you're a new content creator, maybe you only have 5 posts. Those 5 posts can all be built out in 10 different ways easily.
It's so true. I saw a girl's Instagram the other day. I love like kind of stalking Instagrams when I find a new account and I'm like try to reverse engineer like how they got to where they are. And she has 10 videos that are like her hits. Like they're like million plus on every single one. And it's the same exact format. It's like, and the copy is just slightly tweaked a little bit. And I'm like, shit, that's her like number one hit. That's her like, you know, you go to your concert and like that's what the artist closes the event with, right? But then they have their filler tracks. That's her other content. But she really has like this, it's like one video that I'm like, yo, she got all these followers from this one concept. But we overcomplicate it, right? All right, so the next one is let's get into what is the biggest roadblock most creators face when starting out?
The biggest roadblock that most creators face when starting out is analysis paralysis. Oh my God. When I work with people, they ask me, what's the best time to post? What's the best format to post? What, like, just over analyzing little details and getting so pressed on making the perfect video, when in reality, you just got to surrender to the fact that your first few videos are probably going to suck. Maybe a lot of your first videos are going to suck. And know that it's like not that deep. The only way to get to really, really great videos or really great content in general, is to iterate and to test things out. And so biggest mistake is just people think that it needs to be perfect and that they need to have all the answers, when really posting imperfectly is what's going to get you to great content.
So that goes right into, I want you to elaborate on this because this was from your newsletter. I'm going to plug that because I'm loving that right now. Good content is bad. Elaborate on that concept.
Yes, I think the best content in the world is objectively bad content because it is people that are being true to themselves. Maybe it's like an old person fumbling with their phone because they don't know how to use it, and it turns into the funniest, coolest, like most authentic piece of content that everybody loves, and this person becomes like a viral sensation. That's not good lighting, not good audio, not good composition, not good anything. But the fact that that person is showing up authentically as themselves is what makes it good. You don't have to be the best copywriters in the world are not the best at creating content. The best video producers in the world are not the best at creating content. The best artists in the world are not the best at creating content because if you're so classically trained in these rules, you think you have to bring these rules into content creation. And that is just not true. In fact, try to break the rules as much as possible. Like, stop trying to make it perfect, or it's just not going to be good. So in fact, try to make your content a little bad. Like, actually try to make your content bad. Think, how can I make a sucky piece of content today is actually going to get you further than how can I make the most perfect piece of content today.
I love that so much. Go buy her course. Rule number 1, go make some trash. I love it. But it's true. Like, it's true. Like, in that email, you said it's not for art critics. It's for like your audience. It's for the people that connect with you genuinely. And like your content, like a lot of my content, like no professor, maybe now, but like 5 years ago, they wouldn't be like, this is how you grow. This is how you like look online. Like they would be like, no, have perfect lighting, have like a 3-point lighting setup. Like everything needs to be aesthetically pleasing. No, just send it. Just get it out there.
Yeah, people are going to resonate with you. Like, it's really, really about bringing your authentic self to the table, because listen, people don't like care or notice those things. Like, the world is moving so fast. If you wait to have the perfect studio or the perfect setup, you're never going to get there. Just start small, start with what you have, where you're at, and iterate till you get to a place where you want to be. But a lot of times, the thing that you think you want, the big studio, the fancy equipment, doesn't actually matter. And then a lot of times, the more overproduced something is and the more perfect and polished it is, the more it reads like an ad. And you don't want to read like an ad.
Oh, I love that so much. Okay, so the platform that you think someone should start on, like if someone's like, I should start, like there's all these platforms, it's going to be hard you've got a full-time job to be on every single one, what's the one that you recommend they start on?
The one platform I recommend everybody start on is LinkedIn. I know it sounds cringe. I know it sounds weird, but LinkedIn is the easiest platform to succeed on because there's a billion users on the platform and less than
Yeah.
1% of those post one time per week. So if you can just start posting one time per week on LinkedIn, you rank in the top 1% of a billion people. And these are a billion people that are competing for your
Yeah.
clients. They're competing for your partnerships. They're competing for your speaking events. They're competing for your job opportunities, for your promotion. And if you can be the top 1%, it makes everything else so much easier. And then LinkedIn is also boring and it's not sexy. So if you can just have a single iota of personality, you're going to stand out on the platform.
Okay, so content format on LinkedIn. Is it like writing a post and end video, or like whatever you can sort of manage at the beginning and feel the most confident starting off with?
Yes, whatever you can manage at the beginning. It does not matter if you're just taking pictures of books you're reading and just posting that. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're just taking a meme and posting that. Like, I really encourage people to curate content when they're starting just to get over the initial cringe. So maybe that means you're, again, pulling book quotes, you're pulling a YouTube video that you like, you're shouting out somebody else's work. And then once you feel once you feel comfortable, you feel comfortable posting, you feel comfortable with these topics, then start to create some content that you're uniquely, authentically creating. Right now, LinkedIn, I actually went to LinkedIn's headquarters over the summer, and they told me that they are
Let's go.
super, super, super prioritizing content creators from other platforms creating vertical content, so like TikToks or Reels, to repurpose that to LinkedIn, especially if it has anything to do with like skill development, like motivation, leadership. They want that and they're going to promote that content. So if you are a content creator, maybe you're on Reels or you're on TikTok, start repurposing that content to LinkedIn and it's gonna take off.
That's good intel that you actually went to LinkedIn. The other thing is people on LinkedIn, like they're trying to advance in their career. I feel like people got money on LinkedIn. Like opportunities can pop up quick. I saw someone talking the other day. He's getting more for like text-based creator sponsorships on LinkedIn than any other platform. And he was like, they're way easier to create because I'm just writing. I don't have to like film. You have to go through the back and forth with a brand on like, everyone chiming in on like the music and the background and the text. He's just, I'm writing these posts and I'm making money on here. So LinkedIn, so you're repurposing your content on LinkedIn. There's another question I have here is, talking to me about the open to work banner. I don't want to come back to the creator stuff, but while we're on LinkedIn stuff, I love that take because it's just so accurate.
Okay, the damn open to work banner on LinkedIn. I think that from a personal brand perspective, it looks desperate. Having an open to
Yeah,
work banner on your LinkedIn is the equivalent of having single in your Instagram bio. It
yeah,
looks
yeah, yeah.
desperate. And I know we
It's
don't want to
true.
hear this. I know it's like, oh, but I am actually open to work and I do want people to know that. Yeah, but if you're a little too
Yeah,
open to work, you're killing your negotiation power. You're killing your ability to choose, right? If you want to cast a wide net and you want a lot of people to be interested in you and your work, don't have the open to work banner. I'm telling you, it's not going to work. Don't do it. Kills any sort of leverage that you have.
you have mastered green screen videos. What is your number one tip for green screen simple videos? I don't know. I feel like you have some. I don't know what it is. I'm like, is it just like your energy? Is it a combination of I don't know. Tell me, what is your tip for green screen videos?
I have a couple of tips for green screen videos. First, just easiest cheat code for a green screen video, have a picture of a famous person, a prominent person, some sort of recognizable brand in the background. That's going to be really helpful. So let's say you're talking about how to optimize your calendar, your work calendar.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a picture of Steve Jobs in the background and you're going to start the video by saying, Steve Jobs had no meeting Wednesdays. And here's how I'm
Mm,
optimizing my calendar, right? Start with leveraging the brand affinity of a prominent person or place or name or song or celebrity or whatever it might be, just something that's
yep.
immediately recognizable. Yeah, that's my main green screen chip. And I don't do that in every video, but when I do, those are the videos that perform the best.
And what about your ones that are just text based? Because there's some I feel like it's like the maybe Notion or Notes app. It's just text based. Is it just that you're barring up and that's why they hit so well? I feel like you make it look easy, but it's not. It's like not easy.
Okay, another thing that I do on my green screen videos is I read each point and just riff off of it and film for like 10 minutes. And then I edit and cut everything. Like I cut 90% of the video. And
Okay.
that probably makes it seem a lot more organic because I'm not like getting frustrated between takes. I'm just chit
Yes.
chatting about the thing, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to cut 9 minutes out of this and make it a 1 minute video.
And do you notice sometimes when you're editing like that, you don't even end up using like the hook you thought was a hook? It's like 3 minutes in, you're just like, oh, my energy's good here. I'm gonna start with that bit.
Yes, absolutely. And I think a big part of that actually is tapping into emotions. So if you can film videos at points in your day where you're feeling particularly emotional, so maybe you're feeling really angry because you saw this news article that you're mad about, or maybe you're feeling really
Yeah.
inspired, like you're leaning into that energy, or maybe you're feeling like super annoyed because you can't believe people are doing this and you want to comment on this thing. That also makes my videos perform well if I can tap into like the emotion that I'm feeling, which is a pretty common method, actually like a main method in acting. So maybe there's like a performance element here where, maybe
Yeah.
some content creators can get in touch with their emotions through like improv class or something.
Yeah. Well, speaking of emotions, did Neil Patel's team ever respond to you?
No, they didn't. But honestly, so Neil Patel stole my content and I wasn't actually that mad. I was kind of inspired. I was excited. Like I felt very
Totally.
validated and I was a little bit annoyed, but I definitely dramatized it for the video because I knew it'd get views. But no, his team never
For
reached out.
sure. I love that perspective of like I looked at it as in an empowering way. Hey, like that just shows that I'm resonating. And people that are known, like he's like known as like the content marketer guy and he's stealing your stuff. All right, so like kind of leaning into the personal brand stuff. No one is coming to discover you. Elaborate on that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like growing up in the 90s that millennials think that we have like we're gonna go to a mall and get like scouted to become a Victoria's Secret
Yeah.
model or something. Like we're gonna like in the same way we heard all those stories, right? We heard the stories of someone
Yeah,
they
yeah,
got
yeah.
noticed or they did an open mic and then somebody swooped them up and now they're a big star. We romanticize all these stories because yes, that was a way where people got discovered in the time that I was growing up. However, now that's not happening anymore. And we have those stories in our heads, and maybe even subconsciously we think, yeah, this big project's awesome. Like people are going to notice me for it, or people are going to notice me because I made this big impact on this company or this client. And the sad truth is, they're not going to notice. Nobody's going to go out of their way to find you when other people are right in their faces, right? Why would why
Yep.
would people go and trek through the forest to like find food when there's a buffet in front of them, right? So nobody's going
Yep.
to go out of their
Yeah.
way to find you. It
Yeah,
takes
yeah.
way too much effort when people and talented people are being served to them on a silver platter. So you need to put yourself out there because your work does not speak for itself. Like it just doesn't. I know it feels nice. I know we think if we put our head down, we'll be discovered, but there's no one coming to discover you besides yourself.
And then so as far as like say someone's at a job right now and even if they're comfortable, do you think it's a good idea for them to start building their personal brand? And personal brand, the way I see that is just like you publish content somewhere, whether it's like under your name on LinkedIn or Instagram. Do you think it's a good time, even if you have a comfortable job?
Well, absolute bare minimum, you need to start understanding personal brand in your internal organization. So that's how you look on Slack, how you look on Gmail,
Ooh,
how you are talking about your work, making sure you're working loudly to others. Like that is the first step. Start to get comfortable with being seen in your internal organization. Maybe you take a little bit step further and you're helping contribute to a social media post. You're helping contribute to a blog. You're running a webinar. You're doing an internal presentation. Then start to take those skills outside, start to make it a little bit more public because your job doesn't care about you. They can drop
mm,
you at any moment. Like they could fire you, they can lay you
yep.
off. It's a horrible idea to have all your eggs in one basket. And it's a horrible idea to only rely on one company for the entirety of your income. But creating content is a great way to start to plant those seeds to have an income on the side. And it's really not about like jumping into it being like, how can I make $5 billion this year? No, no, no. How can you make $10? How can you go post something that makes you $10? Can you take a spreadsheet that you've created, publish it on Gumroad or Lemon Squeezy, or make a
Yep.
landing page for it, post about it, and make $10? Can you have a one-on-one consulting time for an hour and make $200? Can you start small? Like, how can you start small? But really, your options are limited if you don't have a personal brand. They just are. They're limited. People are not going to look into it for you. They're not going to promote your shit for you. You have to promote your shit on your own if you want more opportunities.
When you publish too, it clarifies your thinking and like understanding for your work, which makes you better at your job, one. And two, it helps you kind of like, it's like the digital networking event, right? You post stuff online and then you get other people's feedback on that. And then you start to build relationships with people in the industry, making you better. So your employer also benefits from this. I think all employers should be encouraging people to be creators or build personal brands themselves. Okay.
I absolutely agree. I think that your best, if you are a marketing leader, a sales leader, your best influencers are right under your nose. Your best influencers are your team because your team already deeply knows the product or service. They're deeply connected to it. They're passionate about it if they're there. Start to give them the tools and the resources to create content, build their personal brand. And like, you don't really need a lot of influencers. You have them already.
Yes. Okay. So and like as we're talking about personal brand and LinkedIn being like the one that people should start with, what is like the what's like the biggest myth? Like what like if it what's the biggest myth about like being successful on LinkedIn if they're thinking their first 30, 60, 90 days of creating on this platform?
The biggest myth of starting your content creation journey on LinkedIn is that opportunities are going to fall out of the sky, where opportunities will fall into your lap, but it's not going to be out of the sky.
Eventually.
It's going to be from
Yeah.
re-stimulating the connections you already have. Because the minute you post
Ooh.
something, that coworker that you had 3 jobs ago that has a partner that actually is starting a business and needs your service is going to reach out. They're going to be reminded of
Yep.
you. So yes, opportunities will start to fall out of the sky when you start to build your network, but you have such a valuable network right now. Just having the 300, 500, 2,000 connections you have on LinkedIn, when you re-stimulate that audience, opportunities are going to come immediately, not from the ether, but from what you've already planted seeds doing years ago.
All right, and so we're coming up on time. I'm gonna hit you with some rapid fire ones. All right, and then you just tell me when we gotta shut it down. So you've been doing these. One, I'm so curious about what the book. I know you're writing a book. I feel like you've talked about that. I hope it's about problematic career cheat codes. I don't know if it is or not, but you can let us know when it's appropriate. But what you've done so many problematic career cheat codes up to this point, and it's such a good ongoing series. What would you say are like the top 3 that resonate with people the most?
First of all, yes, the book is about problematic career cheat codes. I
Mm,
just deeply care about access to information, and I'm so excited to be sharing that with the world. Top
perfect.
3. Number 1, you got to make your boss look good if you want your boss to like you, which can feel a little
Yes.
sticky and gross, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah.
true. It is true. That one really was really hard for me. Number 2, make
Yeah.
strict boundaries in your calendar. Even if you have to fake it, even if you have to say, I'm going to the gym every day for an hour and you don't actually, and you're saying, I'm going to therapy every other week and I'm blocking off 2 hours, it doesn't
Yep.
matter what it is. Who cares? Just start to create some space for yourself. Try not to be available all the time. And 3, speaking of boundaries, when you're on vacation, go no contact. People are not going to respect you if you're on vacation, if you're on your PTO and you're also like, oh, I can help out here, I can help out there. You think it's helpful. It's not actually helpful. It's actually making you look bad.
I'm with you on all of them. Get people wins. If you're under a person, like get them wins. They will keep you top of mind. They'll talk highly of you behind closed doors, and bring you more opportunities. All right. So what is I love your mindset on like financial success. I loved your email on, or like manifesting like financial success. I loved your email that highlighted some of Dan Koh's takes on like building a business is like the ethical thing to do. Business is spiritual. Making money is spiritual. What is the number one thing you do each day to manifest financial success?
This is a good question. The biggest daily habit I have in manifesting financial success is doing work around my identity, like stepping into new identities and higher
Mm,
identities. So a lot of the blockers that come with financial success have to do with our ego, where we might say, oh, who am I to act like that or dress like that or look like that or be like that? And so just start to like clock these daily moments of you not feeling worthy of things. And maybe it's you don't feel worthy of a compliment that somebody's giving you. You're saying, "Oh, no, no, no. This shirt was $10. I thrifted it. Don't give," or like, "Oh, you really helped me with this." And maybe you're like, "Oh, no, no, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was you," right? That's showing that maybe your identity has trouble receiving, right? So just start to clock these moments of,
Yes.
do you feel like you're in that identity of someone that can receive, someone that like can make money, someone that can be that person? And if not, maybe just start to explore why and start to work through some of those things.
That's so good. That's so good. The one I really loved in your take was what do rich people talk about at dinner? Versus poor people. So like, just yeah, give me you're hanging out with some rich people. They're talking about different things than us brokies. What are the main topics they're discussing at dinner?
When I'm around wealthy people at dinner, they're always talking about their goals. They're always talking about self improvement. They're always talking about like spiritual topics. And mind you, these are people that I'm around. I'm not around a lot of people who have like generational wealth. These are more
Yeah.
new entrepreneurs. But like truthfully, when I'm around friends that are wealthy, they're usually talking about self development. And when I'm around friends that are broke, they're usually talking about things that are not productive. And I'm not saying that broke people like, well, I've been broke, right? I've been
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
super fucking broke
yeah,
and
yeah,
I was
yeah,
in my
yeah.
victim mentality. It's not until you can switch to victor mentality and be like, okay, maybe I can do this. Like maybe I can jump into that. Maybe I can start, improving myself, is when you're actually going to get there. But if you're stuck in the victim mentality, like it ain't going to work for you.
Courtney, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. So many bar. I'm probably gonna make a clip from every single time you talked on this one. And then uh go check out her Instagram, her LinkedIn. I'll put the links down below and the link to her cohort as well.
Thank you.